Our bodies are often called machines, but if so, they're engineered for obsolescence, designed to run their course and inevitably break down. For millennia, we've accepted aging as the price we pay for living, a slow, steady decline that leads to sickness and death. Humanity has chased mythical elixirs and holy grails, desperate to cling to youth. But now, in the quiet labs of cryobiologists and the cutting-edge facilities of Harvard, scientists aren't just trying to slow the clock. They're making serious claims about reversing it, about turning our biology back in time. The journey to true age reversal begins not with some futuristic nanobot, but with a forgotten organ, the thymus gland. Tucked away behind your breastbone, this gland is the critical training ground for your T cells, the elite soldiers of your immune system. They protect you from cancer, viruses, and bacteria. But here's the tragedy. After doing a brilliant job until you're about 12 years old, the thymus begins to wither away. This programmed decay is catastrophic. Between the ages of 62 and 78, your ability to recognize things that want to kill you declines by a staggering 98%. This collapse of our defenses is why 90% of people who die from the flu are over 65, and why outbreaks, like the recent pandemic, can become a death sentence for the elderly. Dr. Greg Fahey, a cryobiologist and gerontologist, saw a way around this inevitable decay. He looked back to a 1986 study, one the mainstream had studiously ignored, that showed you could regrow the thymus of an old animal using a simple intervention: growth hormone. But there was a major catch. Growth hormone carries a serious pro-aging risk by raising blood insulin levels, a diabetogenic effect, that can cause age-related diseases, negating its own benefits. Frustrated by nearly a decade of scientific indifference, Dr. Fahey decided to conduct an experiment on the only patient he could fully trust: himself. In 1995, Fahey tested a theory. When we're young, growth hormone and the adrenal steroid DHEA are both abundant, and our insulin levels remain stable. He hypothesized that DHEA might be the key to blocking growth hormone's dangerous side effect. After taking a combination of growth hormone and DHEA for just over a month, an MRI scan confirmed the impossible for a 46-year-old man. His thymus had actually increased in mass, moving him closer to a youthful state. The proof was in the numbers. Fahey saw his insulin spike by 50% when taking growth hormone alone. But when DHEA was added, his insulin dropped right back to where it had started. He had found the countermeasure. It took another 20 years to launch the full clinical trial, called TRIM. The study included 9 men, all Caucasian by coincidence, recruited mostly from the Bay Area. The protocol was a tightrope act, a combination of growth hormone, DHEA, and metformin, a common diabetes drug also known to mimic dietary restriction and suppress sugar production. The team was terrified. They worried that stimulating cell division with growth hormone might trigger or worsen prostate cancer, especially since elevated levels of IGF-1, which the body produces in response to growth hormone, are correlated with prostate cancer risk. But the results defied their fears, offering the first incredible twist. Based on PSA markers, the men's risk of prostate cancer actually dropped by 30% after just 15 days, and this improvement persisted throughout the year of treatment. Fahey had also hypothesized that improving T-cell training would restore the immune system's ability to distinguish self from non-self, thereby reducing the chronic inflammation linked to autoimmune disorders. The hypothesis proved brilliant. Generalized inflammation went down. They also saw improved production of new T-cells and a better lymphocyte-to-monocyte ratio, a key marker associated with protection against at least 19 different kinds of cancer, as well as stroke and heart disease. But the truly earth-shaking discovery was an almost accidental side effect, something they weren't even looking for, but which changed the conversation around longevity forever. To measure biological age, Dr. Fahey collaborated with Dr. Steve Horvath, the genius behind the epigenetic clock. This clock accurately measures biological age by tracking methyl groups, tiny chemical decorations on our DNA that reflect global changes in how our genes are used. Horvath, who had seen every other anti-aging intervention fail to turn back his clock, was floored by the results. After the year-long TRIM trial, the participants were, on average, 1.5 years younger epigenetically than when they started. When you account for the year of aging that should have occurred during the trial, the treatment had effectively reversed biological aging by 2.5 years. This was the first time aging had ever been successfully reversed in human beings. The implications were profound. The thymus, long thought to only govern the immune system, might actually be a pacemaker for the entire aging process, affecting everything from the liver to the brain. This single breakthrough confirmed that a reset switch for aging truly exists. And now, around the globe, scientists are targeting the core mechanisms of decay. At Harvard, researchers like Dr. David Sinclair are focused on the epigenome, the control system that tells our genes when to turn on and off. They believe that over time, our cells lose their identity because this epigenetic programming becomes dysregulated, driving the aging process forward. They've shown that by damaging this programming, they can accelerate aging in mice. But more importantly, they've shown they can restore it. By turning on specific genes, they have made old mice look, feel, and run like young ones again. Using gene therapy, they even restored the eyesight of old mice by activating genes that are normally only active in the young. This is true biological reversal, taking cells back in time. In a parallel approach, Chinese researchers have developed a nanotechnology that safely delivers a high concentration of hydrogen molecules to reverse age-related changes. Their implant delivers hydrogen 40,000 times more efficiently than other methods, releasing it slowly for up to a week. Hydrogen acts as a universal anti-inflammatory agent, scavenging the toxic free radicals associated with aging. In Israel, another group achieved age reversal using specialized hyperbaric oxygen therapy. By fluctuating oxygen levels dramatically, the body is tricked into sensing a lack of oxygen, which is the most powerful natural trigger to stimulate stem cells. This therapy was shown to increase the length of telomeres, the protective caps on our chromosomes that shorten as we age, by over 20% in human beings. The science is advancing so rapidly that the central question is no longer if aging can be reversed, but who will control the solution. Dr. Fei's team is launching the TRIM-X trial to study older people, women, and those not in perfect health. He believes the best age for thymus regeneration is between 45 and 50, requiring repeated treatments every 5 to 10 years. However, the drugs Fei used, growth hormone, DHEA, and metformin, are already common, or vanilla. This presents a massive problem for investors. They fear the protocol will be easily ripped off because the compounds are not proprietary, new molecules that can be patented and monopolized. Investment capital is failing humanity because simply reversing aging isn't attractive enough from a profit perspective. Investors want a new, patentable drug they can own. This commercial fear leads directly into a looming ethical labyrinth. If the science can be franchised to doctors using computer algorithms to optimize individual dosing, a process Fahey is developing, the possibility of a fountain of youth in a pill becomes very real. The vision is straight out of Star Trek, painless jet injectors delivering treatment, eventually leading to an anti-aging pill you can pick up at the pharmacy. But if this technology is based on cheap, easily accessible compounds, who decides who gets to de-age? The rise of longevity inequality is a stark possibility, a world fractured by eternal youth for the few who can afford the sophisticated protocols, leaving billions behind. The need for a solution is urgent. Globally, the number of people over 65 now outnumbers children under 5, and age-related functional decline is the #1 threat to Western society. If people lived longer, healthier lives, the enormous medical expenses from age-related diseases would plummet. We are racing against time. The clock has been reversed in cells, in animals, and in a single human trial. We are within 5 years of realizing a major step toward this future. The reset switch has been found. The question that remains is not if we can defeat aging, but whether we, as a species, are prepared for the society we will create when we do. Thank you so much for watching. If this story fascinated you as much as it did us, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into the science that's shaping our future. We'll see you in the next one.